Hello. Okay, so we're going to style my hair with my kind of go-to routine. I've already gotten this towel wet. My go-to weekly routine that I do before my 3-day stretch working at the salon. So I work at a curly hair salon. I start immediately after I have gotten out of the shower and shampooed and conditioned my hair. In fact, I actually recommend that you put your styling products, so your curl cream or gel, whatever you like to use, in the shower beside your shampoo and conditioner, and you apply your styling products while you're still in the shower so that your hair is soaking, dripping wet when you apply those styling products, and it will make everything else easier. I'm just seeing if I have any. Yes, okay. I just need a spray bottle that has water in it. Because I am fully clothed, I had to get over here without my shirt getting soaking wet. So that probably got some of the water out of my hair. So I'm just going to spray again with some water to make sure that my hair is wet enough when I apply my products. Okay, so the styling products that I'm putting in my hair today are going to be Recoil by AG. This is a awesome, very versatile curl cream. It has some weight to it. It's very moisturizing. It has some humidity barrier properties. It is a Canadian company, AG Hair Care, that owns this. One important thing to know about, I brought some with me to St. Lucia, so I'm actually going to pour it out of this bottle. It has some curl enhancing properties. It is kind of a condensed product, so it comes out like more like a gel, but then when you emulsify it in your hand with a little bit of water, it gets very creamy, and you can see how much you actually have. So you saw how little I just put on my hand, but then when I rub it, it turns into a lot more. So that's something you need to be very, very mindful of, is that you always emulsify your Recoil before you put it in your hair. Otherwise, it's very easy to add too much of this product. Okay. So there's a wide range of different hair types that you can use Recoil with. You just need to be mindful of how much of the product you add. But I only use it for kind of hair that gets very thirsty and really needs that moisture. I wouldn't necessarily use it for hair that gets weighed down super, super easily. Okay, so I'm going to start by kind of raking that product through all over. And you'll notice when I'm applying my hair products to my hair, I really focus on getting it evenly distributed, and I'm not worrying about creating stringiness or frizz because I go through and do a styling step on my hair. So I'm not worried about breaking up curl clumps or anything like that. I'm really just focused on making sure that the product is evenly distributed throughout my hair. Already I can feel my hair is not wet enough. So when you're at home, I really encourage you, as soon as you have rinsed out the conditioner, before you have scrunched any product out of your hair, I'm just going to turn the light out behind me so I'm not backlit. That's when I want you to start applying your products. So like this is not even wet enough. You would want your hair more wet than this. Okay. After I add my gel, I'll add more water. The next product that I'm going to add to my hair, again, I'm using up these bottles that I brought with me to St. Lucia, but is the Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel. This is a stronghold gel. They do have one gel that's one step stronger than that. Morning, Tony. It's a very lightweight gel. It doesn't give you a strong cast, but it does give you like a bit of a stiffness. And this is about how much of the gel I'm adding to my hair. Like I'd say a little bit more than a quarter size amount. I'm gonna apply that all over. And again, I'm really focusing on making sure that that's evenly distributed all throughout. I find the Diva Curl product smells so nice. Just like a light scent. Woo. And not forgetting the top right there where you can get that halo frizz. Okay, so now that I have the product in my hair, I want to make sure that my hair is nice and wet for the next steps. Okay? Like I said, ideally you would have just rinsed the conditioner out of your hair. Your hair is still dripping wet, and that would be when you rake your products through so that I don't have to add water now. However, if you're worried about like rinsing product out of, the gel was the Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel. If you're worried about rinsing product out of your hair or the hair being too watered down and you're gonna like rinse product out of your hair, a fun fact is gel has like moisture grabbing properties to it. So you'll notice like I'm spraying so much water into my hair right now, but very little water is actually dripping out of my hair. The gel actually like grabs onto that moisture. Did you get a chance to look into Living Proof PHT Triple Detox? No. Did you send me a DM, Tony? I totally forgot about that. If you didn't already, send me a DM because it's gonna slip my mind again. I did see. Yeah, as soon as I'm off this live, it's gonna slip my mind. Yeah, as soon as I'm off the live, it's gonna slip my mind. So send me a DM if you want me to look into it. Because as soon as I get off this live, I start editing. Yeah, for sure. And let me know what you wanted me to look into about it. I can't remember now. Okay, so now, can you hear that squish a little bit more? There, that's what we want. We want the hair to be nice and wet. Okay, so we've added our styling product. That was the Recoil by AG. We have sorry, Instagram. I thought I pressed the button on Instagram, but apparently I didn't. Okay, so Instagram is joining us a couple minutes late. Okay, so what we've done so far is we added AG Recoil, and we added the Ultra Defining Gel by Diva Curl. And I felt that my hair was wet, but it wasn't like giving me that scrunch that you can hear now. So I went in with my water bottle and I just fully saturated my hair to make sure my hair was super, super wet. And now we've got all of that. So AG Recoil, which was my curl cream. It is a very moisturizing curl cream that you always want to emulsify in your hands before you add it to your hair. It has great humidity barrier properties, and it also is a curl activator, but very moisturizing. So if your hair gets weighed down easily, I wouldn't choose that curl cream. The other product that I have in my hair today is the Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel, a very lightweight gel. So for my hair, I love pairing those two together. Very moisturizing curl cream, a very lightweight gel, great pairing those together. Have you tried Curl Wow yet? No, I haven't. Okay, so those are my products. My hair is now soaking wet. Now we are going to start doing the rake and shake method. Okay. So I often like to just take a little alligator clip and just clip like a towel or something right here. I do this a lot with clients when I'm doing their hair in the salon, and this just helps prevent you from getting soaking wet. Or you can wear like a bathrobe or something like that when you're doing the rake and shake method. I have wavy hair, but I hate the gross product saturation feel. I need something light. What do you recommend? Do you mean a gross product saturation feel during the styling, like during this part, or when your hair is 100% dry? Because I definitely don't want your hair to feel super producty once your hair is dry. Like really no matter what. If you're using the right weight product for your hair shouldn't feel super, super producty. And that's just going to be like using the right product for your hair. Yeah, after it's 100% dry, I wouldn't be able to recommend that for you because I would have to touch and feel your hair to recommend the right product for your hair. I can't make a blanket recommendation. Even if you told me a few things about your hair, I wouldn't really be able to make the right recommendation because there's so many factors at play. Yeah, I'd have to see your hair, touch it, feel it to be able to make the right recommendation. And also another factor at play there is how much of the product that you're using, applying it at the right time. So yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of factors at play there. But I would say once your hair is 100% dry, don't forget to scrunch your hair until you break the cast. So that can be a really important part because a lot of products, including the Unite products, the Unite Boing line, I'm guessing what you're talking about, create a cast. So that stiffness that you get from products or crunchiness, with Boing it's more of like a stiffness that you get. So that can create like a producty feel. And when your hair is 100% dry, what you're supposed to do is scrunch the hair until that goes away. Now, if you're like, oh, that makes my hair frizzy, well then what we need to do is go back and look at your routine, and there's a couple of things that we can do to minimize the amount of frizz that we're creating during your routine so that by the time your hair is 100% dry, you can go and scrunch it and that's not going to be problematic. Anyways, I hope that's helpful, but basically if it's the cast that is causing the producty feel, you just scrunch it once and that will go away. If it's because the products are too heavy for your hair, then you either need to switch to a lighter weight product or use less of the product. Yeah, it's so true, Tony. Okay, so thank you for the heart, Debbie. Okay, so before my hair starts drying, let's get in here and start doing some rake and shake. I'm really gonna focus on, oh no, do I not have another alligator clip? Oh, come now. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay, so we take an alligator clip. Oh, these are the crappiest alligator clips. They're off of Amazon. And they are just not the best. How to get volume at the root? Yes, I do have suggestions. I do have suggestions for volume at the root. One of them is going to be rake and shake, where you, when you get to the top area, you rake and shake directly up and focus on getting the bend right at the root, because most people who struggle to get volume at the root, their curl doesn't start right at the root. So rake and shake, and when you get up here, go directly up with the rake and shake and focus on creating that first bend at the root. Second of all, diffuse your hair, don't air dry. It makes a massive difference. Third of all, use something like going up volumizing spray to add texture at your root and shake it out. Those are my 3 tips. Okay, I'm just gonna switch these clips. I think this one's gonna be a little bit better. Okay, so when you're doing the rake and shake method on yourself, I like to work through my hair in horizontal sections. And each section you want to be very, very wet. So when I get to my first section, I've already added the styling products to my hair. But when I get to each section, I like to hit it with a little spray of water to make sure it's still nice and wet, especially if you have hair that dries quickly. Okay. Okay. Now you want to take your Denman brush. If you don't have a Denman brush, you can try using like a paddle brush or something that you have at home. And I like to work with sections that are no broader than the width of my knuckle. And how tall you want the section to be will vary depending on the density of your hair, but typically it's going to be somewhere about like 1/2 inch to 1 inch tall, okay? So, for this section at the back of my head, I'm brushing through first to clump the hair and smooth any wet frizz, and then on my head, I like to go with my fingers. I do it underneath when I'm doing it to someone else, but when I'm doing it on my own head, I go from above. And I'm going to go, at this section at the back of my head, I think I'm going to do, using 2 fingers like a claw, to break this into 3 separate curl clumps. And I'm going to start pulling it through. And then in a skipping rope motion like that, to reactivate the curl, okay? And you can kind of see how that reactivated the curl. And this is what it looked like before. And this is what it looked like after. Okay, there's before and there's after. Now we'll do this side. So you can see how that's gonna make it look less frizzy by the time it's dry, right? Okay, now we move to the next section. Now, after I've done the first section, something I want to be mindful of now is how do I make sure I don't mix the sections I haven't done yet with the sections I have done. So now I'm only going to let down what I'm about to do, as opposed to letting down a whole row at a time, unless you have multiple clips. But I only have one alligator clip right now, so now I'm only going to let down this section that I'm like a section the width of my knuckles at a time. And that's going to help me not get confused with what I have and what I haven't done. So this is my next section that I'm going to work with. And I mean, you can put this in your mouth if you want. You can just put it right here. Clip everything else back up. Okay. Now I'm going to hit this with a spray bottle, make sure it's nice and wet. If it's not wet enough, it's going to end up kind of stringy when you try to do the rake and shake, and it's just going to be difficult to work with. So I'm going to brush this directly back to clump everything together, and then I'm going to use 3 fingers this time. Okay, you can kind of see how that created 3 curl clumps. Do that skipping rope motion to reactivate the curl. And I'm not overthinking it. It's the back of my head. No one's looking at it. And it's the underneath section of the back of my head. Okay? Okay, now I'm moving on to the next section. Okay. Got another section right here. My water. This is coming from in front of my ear, so I'm just going to pull that out. I really want the section to kind of all be clumped together. So now I'm taking 2 fingers here. Okay. And again, I like to kind of shake it all away from my face. There we go. And I really don't, when I'm doing my own hair, I don't worry about it being too perfect. Now, something I want to point out is I'm not scrunching after each section, okay? I am going to scrunch my hair, but I only do it one time after I have rake and shaked my own head. Now, when you scrunch your hair, you want your hair to be soaking wet. If you want to encourage your curl, then when you scrunch your hair, the hair needs to be wet. It cannot already be partially dry, otherwise it won't do anything to encourage your curl, okay? So that means after you've done your rake and shake, if your hair is partially dry, you're going to need to respray it with water, okay? So just be mindful of that. Otherwise, when it comes time to scrunch your hair at the very end, it won't do anything. Okay, we're gonna come back and do the bangs later. Okay, so this is all that we have left already. We're pretty much, oh my God, that just scared me so much. There's a fly on the screen of my phone and it just crawled across my face and it made me think that there was something on my face and I was like, what is happening? Is it okay to scrunch right after you rake and shake a section? Pros and cons. That is a great question. So you are going to also scrunch at the very end. You just will. I don't believe that you won't. So every time you scrunch your hair, you're gonna create a little bit of frizz, right? So if you scrunch after you do the section, and then you also scrunch at the end, you're creating frizz twice. So I would invite you to try it both ways and decide for yourself, because the pro of doing it here is it's possible you might encourage the curl a little bit more, but you might also create a little bit more frizz because you're now scrunching twice. Everybody's hair is a little bit different, so everyone's hair is gonna react a little bit differently. So that it might work better on some people's hair to scrunch it immediately after and at the end. So I don't want to say that's never a good idea, because everybody's hair is different at the end of the day. I think you should experiment and see what works best for your hair. But it's something to be mindful of, that sometimes we scrunch after doing the rake and shake just as like a security blanket. So I would say one time, try just rake and shaking and waiting until the very end, resaturating the hair and just scrunching at the end, and see how it goes. See if you like the results. And if you don't, you're like, nah, I need to scrunch as I go. Well, then now you know. I don't know what, this fly is really, he's really into this live right now. Okay, real talk. What's your take on the InnerSense line for fine, low density hair? Okay, well, the I Create definition, I'm hesitant to like rule out an entire line. I don't know that I would use like their shampoo. Their Sweet Spirit leave-in conditioner might be nice. Their I Create definition foam might be nice. The I Create volume product, maybe. And their other foam, maybe. Those are the only products I would use for fine or low density hair. Their shampoos, I don't know that I would use, like the hair baths. Like for fine low density hair, I'd be more inclined to use something like Living Proof. Like I'd be more inclined to use a shampoo and conditioner that is like literally for fine hair. So Jenna, You might also really like foams. I find a lot of people with fine hair quite like foams. But I mean, it's kind of a, I'd have to see your hair and know exactly what your challenges are. So you can see as I'm getting to these higher sections here, how I'm starting to hold the hair a little bit higher. So the I Create Volume is like kind of, it's a very unique product. Is it a cream or a gel? It's kind of like a, I think it's a gel, but with very soft hold. Can someone correct me on that? No, foam is not mousse. Foam is like bubbles. They have a volumizing foam and it's like bubbles and it's great. Foam is great for fine hair. It really encourages curl. It's super lightweight. A very common combination for people with fine hair is their volumizing foam and I Create Volume from Inner Sense. So you can see how I'm really, when I'm doing my own hair, I'm just working through, dropping down a section that I'm working with one at a time. And that way I never kind of lose track of where I'm at in the hair. Someone on, Natalie on YouTube is saying, I love I Create Volume. What do you love about it, Natalie? You love my new cut. Thank you. I've been loving it too. Yeah, I feel like I'm on a journey for shorter and shorter hair right now. What do you guys think? Mains by Mel has me inspired. I'm like, ooh, how short should I go? I cannot tell you guys how much Mains by Mel has been influencing people in the salon. I cannot believe how many people are going short right now. Everybody's getting like the short bob with bangs, like a very round, curly cut with bangs right now is huge. The other thing I'm seeing a lot of is red highlights. Just red highlights, like blonde with red highlights. So cute. Not red, sorry, copper. A blonde with copper highlights or strawberry blonde highlights. That's another big thing that I'm seeing for fall. It's so cute. Okay, so I'm taking down my sections. And you can see I'm kind of taking like whatever shape that I want because I'm not doing this in any particular, like I'm not doing this in a mirror, so I kind of, I just grab whatever I can. Okay, so Natalie said, live chat. I have 3B curls and I Create Volume gives the best hold and definition. That's awesome. Yeah, so like here I'm just kind of, this is not rake and shake, I'm just getting kind of close to my face here, so I'm just giving it a lift by going straight up from the head and just kind of twirling away from my face. I'm gonna do my bangs at the end. Okay, we're gonna go back to the rake and shake and I'm gonna style this right back from my head. And we're almost done. If Inner Sense has a bunch of protein, I would have to check their ingredients. I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, so the rake and shake method, I'm on top of my head. I'm going directly up. I brushed through with the Denman brush. Now I'm taking my fingers, I'm creating those individual curl clumps. I'm doing the shake to reactivate the curl pattern in that skipping rope pattern, and I'm letting it fall, okay? Those sections were a little bit too big. And you can see what happens when, like, horizontally your sections are too big. I don't know if you guys saw that. Horizontally, my sections were too big, so I started, it started separating. Did you see that? So I'm just taking, I kind of took my finger and made another horizontal parting. There we go. Somebody said, medium amount of protein, their products are very balanced. Thank you. Okay, next section. If you like to flip your hair from side to side, like you don't like to have a defined part, this is really what I would recommend doing. You just style the top of your head directly back. If you like to have a defined part, then at this point I would put your part in and I would start the diffusing process upright so that you can start by diffusing that part into place. Okay, I'm actually going to... My favorite clarifying shampoo is the Malibu Sea. And I'm going to break this into a couple more. It's Malibu Sea Undo Goo is my favorite clarifying shampoo for if you just have product buildup. If you have hard water, then you need a chelating clarifying shampoo. And that would be the Hard Water Wellness, also by Malibu Sea. I will say not all clarifying shampoos are made equal. This is something I definitely have learned the hard way. I cannot tell you how many people I have come into the salon who say they are clarifying their hair on a regular basis, and I can feel the buildup in their hair. So it's something to be mindful of, especially a lot of the apple cider vinegar rinse clarifying shampoos. They are very gentle. Like they are not, I'm sure there are good apple cider vinegar rinse clarifying shampoos out there, but I have found a lot of the people who come in and they say they are using an apple cider vinegar rinse clarifying shampoo, their hair still has a lot of buildup in it, just in my experience. So that's something to be mindful of. You want something that's going to be removing buildup on your hair. If you have hard water especially, you need a chelating clarifying shampoo, something that can remove hard water buildup. So you've only ever used Head and Shoulders since high school. You want to stop, but after day 2, I have so much dandruff and it's so itchy. So do you have dandruff or do you have dry, flaky scalp, Ash? So this is actually a very interesting thing. A lot of people conflate or confuse dandruff with dry, flaky scalp. And what can happen is if you actually have dry, flaky scalp, then using Head and Shoulders can help for a day or two, but then after a day or two, it actually makes it worse because Head and Shoulders is formulated for dandruff, not dry, flaky scalp. I'm just gonna fill this up and then I'm gonna give you more information about that. Oh, you do have dandruff. Okay, so you have oily, like it's kind of a yellow, oily, large flakes as opposed to white, dry, flaky scalp. Oh, okay. Then it is for that. Okay, I always like to clarify that because so many people with dry, flaky scalp use Head and Shoulders and it just makes it worse. Okay, I do have advice for you too though. So my advice for you, Ash, is to get a clarifying shampoo. I'm gonna advise, my first question is, do you have hard water where you live? If you don't have hard water where you live, which would be like a mineral buildup or something like that, you do have hard water? Okay, I bet that's contributing. Okay. So if you have hard water where you live, I'm going to recommend Malibu Sea Hard Water Wellness Clarifying Shampoo. And every 4 shampoos or so, use that. Now, I want to make sure that you use that at first, the first maybe second time that you use this on your scalp as well. Usually clarifying shampoos, we don't really focus it on our scalp. But in your case, you probably have a lot of hard water buildup on your scalp that is contributing to your dandruff. If you think about it this way, if your scalp is skin, just like your face, and if we never remove buildup from our face, we get skin issues, right? And it's the same thing with your scalp. If you have a lot of hard water buildup on your scalp, it's going to cause skin issues. So get a hard water clarifying shampoo. I really highly recommend Malibu Sea Hard Water Wellness. The other thing I would recommend, I really like the there is, oh God, a really good scalp massager, but like one that has like comb ends on it. Not one of the like one that is really gonna help you remove debris buildup. Not one of the ones that has the silicone ends, one that has comb ends on it. And a scalp massager, and before you shampoo your hair, when your hair is still dry, go in and loosen up any like flakes while your hair is still dry. Do that first and then go into the shower, specifically before your clarifying wash day, okay? So every 4 shampoos, use your Malibu Sea. Yeah, not a comb end, it's like, who has it? They are a company that sells, it was the first ever straightener that I bought, and it starts with a B. Do clarifying shampoos dull or remove hair dye? Some of them can. You have to make sure you're buying one that is color safe. When I say comb end, I mean, you know how, see if I have one. Okay, so this is a scalp scrubber. The scalp scrubber that I am recommending to Ash, Baby Bliss. Oh my God, thank you so much. So the Baby Bliss scalp scrubber has like fine tooth basically. Yeah, that's what I'm recommending because it can really get in there and loosen everything up. So then dry of your scalp before you clarify. And I bet that will dramatically help with your scalp issues. And then I would say also, don't be afraid to go talk to a dermatologist. If you're having serious ongoing skin issues with your scalp, don't be afraid to talk to a dermatologist. Because, you know, it's always possible that it's something like psoriasis or there's something else that's at play. And in that case, you would want to know because you might need a medicated shampoo or something like that. Really good questions today, guys. Yay! That's fun. Okay, so around my face, I always like to do a couple of little brush curls. So I'm about to do my last step, which is going to be to scrunch my hair. And then we are going to start drying. So when I'm doing these brush curls, I put my brush at a downward angle like that. I rotate the brush away and wrap it around the handle just to add shape. Put the brush at a downward angle, put it through the bristles one time, then I wrap it around the handle. And if you find it easier to finger curl, you absolutely can. I'm using a Denman brush. So Head and Shoulders is very different. It's not a clarifying shampoo. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're almost done. But if you're having ongoing, like Head and Shoulders is not really formulated to help resolve ongoing issues. Like if you're having ongoing issues and you've been using Head and Shoulders for like a few months and it's not going away, like to me, we need to look at a larger issue. So like, I'm not surprised. Like my first question was, do you have hard water? And yes, that person has hard water. Like, so usually when I see scalp issues, it often comes back to someone needing to clarify their hair more frequently. Like you would not be surprised, like you would be shocked at how often scalp issues can be resolved by clarifying hair more frequently or with a different clarifying shampoo. Like it's honestly one of the biggest ways to resolve scalp issues. Of course, there's exceptions to that. Some people also have like medical reasons that they might need a medicated shampoo or something else is going on. But clarifying your hair is so important, especially as wavy and curly girls. We use so many products on our hair, and those products build up on our hair ultimately over time, unless we're using very clean products. But most of us are very naughty and at least sometimes are using products that do build up on our hair. So I'm just teasing. That's not naughty. We like to use different products. Okay, so I am going to now use a t-shirt towel, but you can use just a plain cotton t-shirt. And I'm going to flip my hair upside down. And this is the first time that I'm going to scrunch my hair, but it is very important that your hair is saturated when you go to do this. If your hair is already partially dry, when you go to scrunch your hair, you're not gonna get the full benefit out of scrunching your hair. So I know it seems counterintuitive that we're about to like remove some of the excess water and we're gonna spray it with water first, but I guarantee you are gonna want to not skip this step. Okay. Okay, make sure it's nice and wet. I like to go in first with my hands. Now, if your hair is very prone to getting frizzy, you shouldn't have even needed to spray it with more water. And what I mean by that is, you should have been keeping your hair so soaking wet while you were doing the rake and shake method, because otherwise it was going to get frizzy during the rake and shake method if your hair is naturally prone to frizz. That it should just still be so wet right now from how wet you kept it during the rake and shake method. So for my friends who are prone to frizz, that's just a heads up. That's how wet you should have been keeping it. The products that I used on my hair today were AG Recoil and Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel. Okay, and now I'm following it up just with a plain t-shirt towel. And you'll notice how I'm not rubbing the hair. I'm very gently scrunching the hair. Now, if you don't want to encourage your curl, you would kind of like flatten it like this to the side. If you have very short hair, you can just press it against your scalp. In my case, I'm scrunching it like this because I do want to encourage my curl. Okay, and you can go directly forward as well if you're really trying to encourage curl towards your root. Okay. And again, if your hair is not soaking wet during this step, it's not going to do anything to encourage the curl. And so at this step, if your hair is frizzy, likely you're going to have frizz at the end of the day. So you really want to try and get to this step with as little frizz as possible. Okay. Now, I actually have root clips today. Although my hair is notoriously difficult to root clip, I'm very bad at root clipping my own hair. Very bad, especially without a mirror. So, I'll just put in a couple like that. Okay, that'll do for now. So root clips help you get a little bit more lift just around the crown. So I'm specifically going to use them for this first part where I start hover diffusing. So there's two main diffusing techniques that I do while I'm diffusing my hair. If you've ever said, oh, I can't diffuse my hair, anytime I diffuse my hair just gets like super frizzy, it probably comes down to the technique that you're using while you diffuse your hair, okay? Sweet nectar, one sec. So, like I said, two main techniques that we're going to be using today. One of them is called hover diffusing and the other technique is called pixie diffusing. One sec, let me plug in my diffuser. By the way, if you're new here, my name's Gal. I'm a hairstylist. I work in Ottawa, Canada, and I work in a curly hair salon. I'm going to start by hover diffusing, and I typically like to start by hover diffusing because it creates the least amount of frizz. Hover diffusing is kind of the secret sauce. It mimics a fast air dry. You literally hold the diffuser 8 to 10 centimeters away from the hair, and you just hover it around your hair. Now, if you are a busy person, you can literally buy a hood dryer that you can have at home. It's like $150, I would say, on Amazon. I would not buy one for less than like about $150. If you spend less than that, it's not going to be very good. Or you can buy like those inflatable things that attach to your blow dryer. Anything like that is going to mimic hover diffusing, right? It's a fast air dry. This is going to create the least amount of frizz because we're not actually touching the hair. So this allows your natural curl pattern to set, or in this case, the rake and shake method where we created those larger curl clumps to start to have the gel cast set around them. And that's really what we want, is we want that gel cast to start to set. Now, what is a gel cast? Because we used two products in my hair today. We used a curl cream, which is AG Recoil, and then we also used the Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel. Now, the Ultra Defining Gel creates a gel cast, and the gel cast is kind of that stiffness. If you've ever used like a mousse or a gel, that creates a little bit of a stiffness or a crunchiness. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like to use like any products that create stiffness or crunchiness in my hair. This is the Lifen. It's linked in my bio. Products that create stiffness or crunchiness that's actually really desirable in a product, curly hair product. Now, it's not desirable because we're going to leave that in our hair. I don't walk around with stiff or crunchy hair all day. It's desirable because hair, when it's wet, is very prone to getting frizzy. Okay? Every time you touch wavy, curly, pinky, coily hair while it's wet, it gets a little bit more frizzy. What a gel cast does is, before the hair is 100% dry, the gel cast creates this shell, this stiff exterior around the hair to protect it from getting frizzy during the drying process. That's what the gel cast is meant to do. It's like science. So once the hair is 100% dry, you scrunch the hair until that gel cast goes away, and then it's not stiff and crunchy anymore. But the purpose is that you want it to be stiff and crunchy during the drying process to protect it from getting frizzy. So anyway, that's why that was a really eye-opening thing for me when I finally realized the purpose of a gel cast. Is a curl cream like a leave-in conditioner. So I use the AG Recoil. Is it like a leave-in conditioner? Nah. It's its own thing. A leave-in conditioner, the purpose of a leave-in conditioner is really just to add moisture to your hair. That's sometimes a leave-in conditioner might also have heat protectant in it. It might also have like detangling properties or something like that. A curl cream typically does a few things, okay? So a curl cream is kind of an umbrella term that really is almost a marketing umbrella term. There are a wide range of curl creams that are on the market, and that's why I say it's an umbrella term. A curl cream can look like a lot of different things. There are curl creams on the market that are almost like leave-in conditioners. and are very lightweight. But there are also curl creams on the market that are basically butters and are very, very heavy. So it is very much an umbrella term that can refer to a wide variety of different products. Curl creams typically offer definition, moisture, a small amount of hold. Some curl creams prevent shrinkage, while other curl creams activate curl pattern. So you really need to read about the specific curl cream that you're using. Some curl creams have humidity barriers in them. Some curl creams have heat protection, some don't. But curl creams are really meant to be a tool that fix a lot of curl problems. You do not have to use a curl cream, but it is important if you are choosing to use a curl cream that you are reading what that curl cream does and that you are choosing a curl cream that is appropriate for your curl thickness, whether you're fine, medium, or coarse hair, and for your curl tightness, whether you have loose, medium, or coily hair. That is very, very important. Okay, so I have been hover diffusing now for a few minutes, and now I'm going to switch to pixie diffusing. Now, I like to put in these root clips just to create a little bit of lift while I'm hover diffusing, because I hover diffuse upright so that my part can start to set. I really like to hover diffuse so that my bangs can not get too wonky. If I switch to pixie diffusing immediately, I find my bangs get a little bit weird. They might still get weird, but we'll see. Yeah, typically we say that, my colleague Leah says that curls and wavy hair our hair changes every 5 years. And you know what? I think that's so true. That has been my experience with my clients as well. On average, most of us will experience pretty major changes in our hair every 5 years, if you can believe, in our curl pattern. So I'm just going to do a little bit more hover diffusing upside down. And then I'm going to switch to pixie diffusing. Yes, I have a few chemo curl clients. Okay, so now we've been hover diffusing for a little while. The second technique that we're going to do is called pixie diffusing. But you can see we've gotten to this point, we've been diffusing for a little while. My hair is about 50% dry and there's minimal frizz and we haven't broken up the curl clumps too much. And that is the beauty of hover diffusing, okay? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take the diffuser, and what I don't want you to do with pixie diffusing, unless you like the results you get, is take your diffuser and start going like this. Okay? We want to minimize how much we're moving the diffuser, because remember, when your hair is wet, it's very fragile and prone to getting frizzy. So, leave your diffuser turned off unless you have a Dyson, because your Dyson is going to be really fragile. Like, it's going to be gentle with your hair. But if you have anything except for a Dyson, leave your diffuser turned off. Lower the hair into the mouth of the diffuser, and then turn the diffuser on, and then hold the position for somewhere between 15 and 25 seconds. The exact amount of time, I'm also gonna change this to be on the heat cycling mode. Not all diffusers have a heat cycling mode, but if you have that mode, it's awesome, okay? If your hair dries really, really quickly, you might hold positions for closer to 15 seconds. If your hair dries really, really slowly, you might hold positions for closer to 25 seconds, okay? The key is, if you are only holding positions for like 5 seconds and then you're moving the diffuser again, you are going to end up with frizzier hair, okay? My hair takes quite a while to dry, so I like to hold positions for a little bit longer. It always feels like your hair is going to dry faster if you move positions more frequently, and it is a fallacy. The blow dryer is blowing the same amount of air. It's not going to go any faster if you move positions more often. Okay, so now I'm in another position and I hold this position for another kind of 25 seconds. So this is called pixie diffusing. Now the benefits to pixie diffusing is that this actually will encourage your curl pattern. So whereas hover diffusing creates the least amount of frizz and allows your gel cast to start to set, but it doesn't do anything to encourage your curl pattern, pixie diffusing can create a little bit more frizz, but minimal amount of frizz as long as we don't move the diffuser too much and we have allowed the gel cast to start to set before we start pixie diffusing, but it encourages your curl, okay? So you're gonna wanna find that balance between how much hover diffusing your hair likes you to do before you start pixie diffusing. Some people's hair, they like to go pretty much straight into pixie diffusing for their hair, and their hair won't get too frizzy, and that's great. Other people, they have to hover diffuse for quite a while because their hair is so prone to frizziness. And then there's other people who naturally have so much volume that they pretty much only hover diffuse. So everyone's hair is going to be a little bit different. No two heads are exactly alike. Yeah, never believe people who only show their hair to the side like this because it always looks good. Because it makes it look like, I don't know, it always looks good. I'm kind of joking when I say that. I guess that comment was probably a reflection of my understanding of my own hair at the time. I know a bit more about different hair types now. I guess what I was referring to is curly hair that doesn't curl all the way up to the roots. Because my own hair doesn't curl all the way up to the roots, when I flip all my hair to the side, you can't tell that, right? So it hides the fact that the curl isn't, and my underneath layer is curlier than my top layer. So Tony, me making that comment was really more of a reflection of my own curl pattern. Why, whenever I start to diffuse, it gets frizzy immediately. So you're probably a little late to this live, I'm guessing. But a couple of things that probably has more to do with diffusing technique. First of all, make sure that you are preparing your hair with styling products such as curl cream, leave-in conditioner, and gel. You probably don't need all three of those products, but just the styling products that are right for your hair. Second of all, make sure your hair is not frizzy going into it. Make sure you have styled it and don't have frizz before you start diffusing. And second of all, I recommend hover diffusing first until your gel cast starts to set, okay? So gel cast is that stiffness that you get from using gel. So you're gonna want to hover with, like this, with the diffuser until your hair starts to get stiff from the gel, and then you can go in and start cupping with the diffuser to start pixie diffusing. But when you do start cupping with the diffuser, which is called pixie diffusing, I want you to hold those positions for like 20 seconds. So hold it for 20 seconds, and then once you've done that, then you can move to your next position. So what people often start doing is from the get-go, from soaking wet hair, they immediately just start cupping the hair. 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. And that's absolutely gonna create a ton of frizz because wet hair is extremely fragile and very prone to getting frizzy, okay? Every time you touch wet hair, it gets very frizzy. So I recommend starting with the hover diffusing until that gel cast starts to set and your curl pattern is able to set, and then going in with pixie diffusing, and again, minimal touching. You don't want to move the diffuser too much. So I hope that's helpful. Oh, because mine looks great on the side and then doesn't normal. But that makes sense. My curl pattern starts low on top of my head. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once the hair starts to be pretty dry, like my hair is about 85% dry right now, at that point, I mean, I would still recommend holding your pixie diffusing positions for longer, but it starts to be okay to move your diffuser a little bit more, okay? I recommend still holding your positions for as long as possible. Now, don't forget the back of your head. Tilt your head back a little bit and push up against the back of your head. Okay, so we did 2 different diffusing techniques today. We did hover diffusing and then we did pixie diffusing. And that's always going to make the biggest difference when it comes to making sure that you don't just create a ton of frizz when you're diffusing your hair. So if you're someone who's ever said, like, I just can't diffuse my hair, it always comes down to technique. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of volume today. I haven't used just these two products together in a long time. Okay, so the products that we used on my hair today was AG Recoil and the Diva Curl Ultra Defining Gel, which is a strong hold gel. AG Recoil is a nice product because it's pretty light, like it's not lightweight, sorry, it's very moisturizing, but you can really kind of change not how heavy it is, but you can use it on a wide variety of hair types just by adjusting how much of the product you use. My hair is pretty much dry now. So now I'm using the diffuser to break the cast, okay? So now I'm gonna actually move the diffuser a little bit more. And I just got that tiny little bit of stiffness from the Diva Curl Gel. It's looking really good. And anywhere that I feel a little bit of dampness, I'm going in with the diffuser just to make sure it's 100% dry. Now, once I've done that, I like to turn my diffuser onto a cool setting, and I finish diffusing my hair on a cool setting. I have the Shark as well as the Lifen. I have the Shark Flex Styler, not the regular Shark diffuser. I have the Shark Flex Styler with the diffuser attachment. I don't find that I use it very much, so I think Shark also has a regular blow dryer, maybe, I don't know. I have their Flex Styler with the, it has an air wrap on it. I like the air wrap, that's cool. So if you're gonna use the air wrap, then very cool. As a diffuser, I don't love it. I find it heavier, and I find that it makes a very high-pitched noise. So because of those two things, I personally prefer the Lifen. However, if you want the flexibility of being able to use it, like for example the Shark Flex Styler, you can buy a pick attachment for. So if that's important to you, that you're able to get the pick attachment, then I understand wanting to get the Flex Styler instead. Or if you want to have the air wrap attachment, because sometimes you wear your hair straight and you want the air wrap attachment, but I understand, you know. Advice for explaining to a hairdresser how to cut my curly hair. I live in the boonies. So I would always just recommend bringing a picture of what you want. At the end of the day, ultimately a hairstylist, you have to hope, is going to know more than you do about how to cut your hair. So like you can ask them to cut your hair dry, but if they don't know how to cut dry hair, I wouldn't ask them to cut dry hair, you know? So there's that. I honestly think that the best way to ask for what you want is to show them a picture and tell them what about that picture you like. That is the way to get the least amount of like lost in translation. And also that way, if you show them a picture and you're like, this is what I like about this picture, maybe show them another picture and be like, this is something that I don't like, you know? And that way they can tell you, oh, like this is not achievable for you, you know? Because maybe what you want is not achievable for your hair. And that is most likely to be communicated if you actually show them a picture. Because that it's sometimes clients don't realize that what they want is not achievable, and if they show me a picture, I'm able to let them know that, you know. Like often someone will bring me a picture of something that's longer than their current hair, and they might not realize that. Sometimes you don't realize it when it's on your own hair, right? And you would think that that's obvious, but it really isn't sometimes when it's on your own hair. Like so we don't see ourselves as clearly sometimes. So I really recommend just bringing a picture of what you want and trusting. Ultimately, there has to be a certain level of trust that your hairstylist is going to be able to achieve that with the skills and knowledge that they have. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to using these root clips. I really like to use them after I've finished diffusing my hair. One sec. I go in with a few clips after I finish diffusing. Oops. There we go. And I find this to be a very effective, it's really hard to do without a mirror. There we go. And I find, you know how after you curl a few pieces with a curling iron, you can like pin curl it to help it set? This is basically what I'm doing here. I have finished diffusing the hair and I'm like holding it in that like lifted diffuser position, which while it's cooling from the diffuser, and this really helps that volume. Please also share the links for the clips or maybe a name. Yeah, it should be linked in my bio, in my link tree. However, I will say the price that's currently showing on Amazon seems a bit high. So you can see what they're called in my link tree and then maybe look on Amazon and see if you can find them somewhere else on Amazon. But you can at least see like what the ad looks like and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they used to be a little bit cheaper, and then currently the link in my link tree, I don't know if it got updated or something. Sometimes Amazon automatically replaces it with like a similar link. Excuse me. Does somebody want to go outside? Okay, so while my roots cool, I really like how that's looking. Basically, so as I was saying, you know, yeah, Sterling just like chillaxing somewhere on the couch back there. What a handsome king, eh? Okay, so after I finished diffusing, I put my root clips back in. I let everything cool for a couple of minutes. And then usually I would do my makeup now, like if I'm getting ready in the morning. And I would leave this for like about 10 minutes. And then once that's done, I put a little bit of Going Up volumizing spray just under the top layer. And then I create a little bit of constructive frizz under there. And that is like my secret to maximum volume. And it is clutch, like game changer. But that's pretty much the whole routine. From here, I'm just gonna like shake things out. But yeah, we're just like waiting for things to cool down. How was that, guys? Any questions? Was that thunder? Weird. I usually just do my makeup, but I mean, I think you want to wait at least 5-6 minutes for it to cool down. Does the more expensive Life-In have a bigger diffuser attachment? I don't think Life-In has a bigger diffuser attachment. As far as I know, when they presented at CurlyCon this past year, I mean, I'd have to double check their website. It could be that there's been some sort of update. But when they presented at CurlyCon in April, they said that they were looking into that because that was a big request that we voiced, was that we wanted a bigger diffuser attachment. But as far as I know, this is the only diffuser attachment that they have. But I mean, it's the same thing with Dyson. Dyson only has the one diffuser attachment size, as far as I know. I think it's power. The two versions. I think it has to do with like power of the actual diffuser itself. So like probably to do with like the speed it'll dry your hair. Yeah. I have the Life-In Swift. I have not the most expensive one, but I have like not the least expensive one. I'm in Canada, so I don't think we have the super inexpensive one here. Or at least maybe we do now. We didn't when I ordered it. I have dropped this so many times because I've dropped this whole unit so many times. I have to say I'm like pretty impressed with how it has held up. One of the things I do really like about this magnet attachment is I find a lot of diffusers, the like diffuser attachment comes off, and this never comes off. The only way that this will come off is if I drop the whole thing, then maybe this will pop off. But it does, like, as a rule, like it's never just gonna like slide off on its own. But yeah, I've dropped this enough times now that it's like getting damaged. Okay. So that is probably good for, oh, it's still a little cool, a little hot. Let's see. So it is the Life-In blow dryer. You can check it out in my bio. I have partnered with them. You're welcome, Karen. Hair Witch Sarah. Are you a hairstylist? I should say it's not for commercial use, as far as I know, and a couple of reasons for that. If you were a hairstylist, the length of this cord would drive you nuts. It is not long enough. Even for residential use, I have it on a little like extension cord. But that's fine. That doesn't bother me in my bathroom. I just have it on like a little like outlet extension. I have that anyways because I have a whole bunch of like I have like my straightener, like a whole bunch of different things. But yeah, so they're not built for commercial use. So I use a Dyson in the salon. But I love finding more accessible dryers for my acrylic clients. Yes. So this is what I recommend for my clients typically, because most people aren't going to buy a Dyson. I don't even recommend most people buy a Dyson unless they have like very fragile hair that gets blown around a lot really, really easily. And then I'm like, okay, if you have the budget and you are just like really struggling with your hair and it gets blown around a lot, the diffuser is much better on the Dyson. This is more affordable than the Dyson, so for a lot of curly clients, the Life It is a great option. As far as like the diffuser bowl, something in a similar price point to the Life In, Sarah, but that I find has like a lower airflow diffuser bowl for clients who are looking for something that's kind of like in the $200 price point, but with a lower airflow diffuser for like very fine haired clients, the Bellissima. But it's only for people who only wear their hair wavy or curly because it is only a diffuser machine. Like it doesn't, it's not an attachment. Maybe you've seen the Bellissima. It's not an attachment. The whole thing is a diffuser. It's really weird. But I find that is a very low airflow, very similar to the Dyson. So it's good for like fine haired clients that their hair gets like blown around really, really easily. So depending on the client, like if their hair is like mine and they want the versatility to be able to blow their hair straight or wear their hair curly or wavy, yeah. Aside from that, you're welcome. Okay, so, okay, now we are going to take out these root clips. Hi, Jamie. Okay. Okay, so I am going to use a very small amount of, I think this is called Super Finish by Evolve. It's like a finishing balm. I have not tried one of the bonnet diffuser attachment thingies. But I mean, you can definitely just use your hands. You don't need to use a finishing balm on your hair. Okay, and just to dry that finishing balm. Actually, I don't think I want to do that too much because we just cooled my roots in that upright position and I don't want to heat them up again. And that balm didn't really wet my hair. Okay, so look at the shape. Marilyn gave me such a nice shape. Oh my gosh. The Super Finish is, I don't even know if I have the bottle here. Super Finish. It's just like a little serum. It's like a humidity control, like it's kind of like it's a finishing balm. It's kind of like a serum or an oil. It's not an oil though. It's like a silicone-free serum that's like for humidity, smoothing, anti-frizz, little balm by Evolve. Have I tried the As I Am products? I've only really tried their co-wash a long time ago, but I don't really use co-wash anymore. Okay, so I really like how my hair turned out today. I feel like it's looking very light. It's not looking weighed down. I like how my shape is shaping. I am gonna go for even like more volume today. So I'm going in with the Weedad Going Up Volumizing Texture Spray. And so with this product, I'm gonna go in and put a little bit of the texture spray right, whoops, right at the root. And then I like to let it dry. Now you need enough of it that when you go in, you can feel it. If you can't feel the product, you don't have enough of it. Now a texture spray is not a hairspray. It is meant to create grit so that when you go in and create some constructive frizz, it like holds and stays. Would you ever use a dry shampoo or would that require too much movement? So I don't need a dry shampoo. My hair does not get oily quickly. So how would you use a dry shampoo, I guess? Sarah, like, are you asking would I use dry shampoo now for like grit, or do you mean would I use dry shampoo later? So now I add my texture spray and then I'm gonna leave that for a second and let that dry. So again, like I usually do this like in the context of like getting ready and doing my makeup and stuff. So after each of these steps, I'll like go get dressed, like. For grit or if you get oily quickly, I haven't. Like even with my clients, I haven't. Like I find, like, have you found texture sprays to be an issue? Like I guess you could. Have you found texture sprays to be an issue for people who get oily quickly? I guess you could. Would that require too much movement? I don't think the movement would be an issue. Like you definitely could, especially if you get oily quickly. There's also like some hybrid products that are like combo texture dry shampoos. I saw one the other day. So like I'd be inclined, no, just I've had some clients not enjoy the grit from a texture spray. Oh, well then yeah, totally a dry shampoo would be perfect. Yeah. And some, like, if they also just, like, I don't even recommend texture spray for all my clients. Like, it depends how much volume they want, right? And some people's hair doesn't need it. Some people's hair creates, like, natural volume, as you know. So it just, like, depends what their goals are. It depends what their hair naturally does. But yeah, I think dry shampoo on some hair would do it. Dry shampoo on my hair, not as much because I have naturally like somewhat silky hair. And my hair is so like has such a loose curl pattern towards the root that like I need the grit that is provided by a texture spray. But like, of course it depends on the curl pattern. Okay. So now that I have given that a moment, oh, immediately I can feel that there's not enough product. I was a little too shy with the texture spray, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. And I like for my texture spray to like last a few days. Like I'm gonna apply this once and I want it to last through my refreshes. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. There we go. And maybe one more. There we go. Okay, now we'll let that dry. Now, a really great product, if you're somebody who you find after you go in and like zhuzh things up, you're like, oh, I just have a few pieces that have been like gotten frizzy from that. Moisture Seal by Diva Curl it's a really great little moisture spray that you can just put in your hands, and it's like a little lip balm for your hair that can help smooth things. Another great product if your hair needs something a little heavier is Mela and Kira Smooth Ends, which is what I'm going to use. It's a little bit heavier. Okay. One pro tip with your texture spray is that it does help, I find, if it's dry before you shake things out. So I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes for that to be dry. And now I'm mortified because my husband's standing beside me. Okay. So on one side at least, oh no, it's still wet. So I find if you start to like create frizz in texture spray that's still damp, it feels like it's like getting like gunky in your fingers. I don't know. I just feel like it's not nice. So I like to wait until it's 100% dry. Okay. Okay. Go to the other side. And that should just create the grit that you need now to create that constructive frizz. There we go. So I'm taking just a tiny little dot of Smooth Ends by Mela and Kira, and if there's any little pieces here that I want to smooth, I'll just add the definition back into them. And you can use, like I said, if you want something a little bit lighter than Smooth Ends, I really like Moisture Seal by Diva Curl. There we go. All done. Thanks for joining. Okay, so I'll see you guys next Tuesday. As usual, if you want to book, send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. I go live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. EST. And I'm currently booking for curl coaching, one-on-one curl coaching, and starting in January, I'm booking curly cuts. I am also looking for hair models in Ottawa, Canada. So if you're interested in being a hair model for a curly cut, please send me a DM with a picture of your hair from the front, side, and back. With the words hair model at the top, and we can have a little chat about whether or not that's a good fit. Yeah, apart from that, I hope that you found today helpful, and I will see you next Tuesday. Okay, bye-bye.